The white dress should have been my first warning. When my sister Valentina walked into the bridal suite that morning, she was wearing a floor-length white gown that looked more bridal than my own dress. "Val," I said carefully, trying to keep my voice light, "you know you're supposed to wear the burgundy bridesmaid dress, right?" She twirled, her dress billowing out like meringue. "Of that ugly thing? No way. This is much more flattering. Besides, white is so in for summer weddings." "It's my wedding," I reminded her. "I'm wearing white." "Don't be so old-fashioned, Aria." She examined herself in the mirror, adjusting her cleavage. "Not everything is about you." My maid of honor, Simone, caught my eye in the mirror. We'd been friends since college, and she knew the Valentina playbook by heart. The look she gave me said, "Want me to spill wine on her?" I shook my head slightly. This was my wedding day. I wasn't going to let my attention-seeking sister ruin it with her usual dramatics. I should have let Simone spill the wine. The ceremony itself was beautiful. Marcus waited for me at the altar, tears in his eyes, looking like every dream I ever had come true. The garden venue was perfect, fairy lights twinkling in the California sunset. For 30 precious minutes, I forgot about Valentina's white dress and focused on marrying the love of my life. Then came the reception. We were halfway through dinner when Valentina clanked her fork against her champagne glass. My stomach dropped. She wasn't supposed to give a speech. "Excuse me, everyone." She stood, her white dress practically glowing under the reception lights. "I know this is Aria's day." Lie number 1. But I just can't keep this secret any longer. The room fell silent. Marcus grabbed my hand under the table. Even the waitstaff froze. Valentina placed a hand on her stomach, her 4-carat engagement ring catching the light. "David and I are expecting. I'm pregnant." The room erupted, but not with the confused, awkward murmurs you'd expect when someone hijacks a wedding. No, my family burst into ecstatic applause. My mother actually screamed with joy, rushing to embrace Valentina. "My baby's having a baby," Mom cried, tears streaming down her face. Tears she hadn't shed during my ceremony. "When are you due?" Aunt Patricia gushed. "April." Valentina beamed. "We just found out last week, but I couldn't wait to share with everyone." Couldn't wait. At my wedding. In a white dress. But the worst was yet to come. Mom turned to the crowd, still clutching Valentina. "This calls for a special celebration. Aria, sweetheart, give your sister your bouquet. She's the one who really needs it now. She's giving us our first grandchild." The room spun. "I'm sorry, what?" "Your bouquet," Mom repeated impatiently. "For the photos. Valentina should hold it. It's tradition for expectant mothers." "What tradition?" Marcus said, his voice dangerously low. "The tradition where someone announces a pregnancy at someone else's wedding." Mom waved him off. "Oh, Marcus, don't be selfish. Aria can share the spotlight. Sisters do that." I looked at my bouquet, garden roses and peonies I'd selected myself, wrapped in my grandmother's lace handkerchief. Then I looked at Valentina, glowing with triumph in her white dress, and something inside me snapped. But I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I smiled. "Of course," I said sweetly, standing up. "Valentina deserves all the attention. She always has." I handed her my bouquet with steady hands. Valentina's eyes narrowed slightly. She knew me well enough to sense a trap but couldn't spot it. "In fact," I continued, raising my voice, "let's make this moment really special. David, why don't you come up here with your glowing bride-to-be?" David, Valentina's fiancé of 3 years, looked uncomfortable but obeyed. He was a nice enough guy, a pediatric dentist who genuinely seemed to love my sister despite her narcissism. I'd always felt a bit sorry for him. "Everyone, a toast." I lifted my champagne glass. "To my sister Valentina and David. To their engagement. To their pregnancy. And to," I paused dramatically, just like Valentina had, "to their ability to make it work despite everything." Nervous laughter rippled through the crowd. Valentina's smile flickered. "Aria," she warned quietly. No, you wanted the spotlight," I said, my smile never wavering. "You deserve it. Everyone should know what an amazing sister I have. So lucky. I mean, the timing is just uncanny. Due in April, right?" "What are you implying?" Valentina hissed. "Nothing. Just that the math is interesting. April puts conception around July. I pretended to count on my fingers. Wasn't David at that dental conference in Portland during the first 2 weeks of July? David's expression shifted. How did you know about? Oh, I follow the Pediatric Dental Association on Instagram. I chirped. They posted so many photos from the conference. You gave such a great talk on preventive care. Valentina, you must have been so proud, watching from home. I visited him, Valentina said quickly, in Portland. Really? I tilted my head. That's funny, because I remember you posting from that girl's trip to Vegas the same weekend. With your sorority sisters. Unless you figured out teleportation. The room had gone completely silent. David was staring at Valentina like he was seeing her for the first time. Val, his voice was small. You told me you couldn't come to Portland because of work. I meet. But that's ancient history, I interrupted brightly. What matters is now. And the baby. Oh, and speaking of surprises, Valentina, remember when you asked me to pick up your prescription last month? The pharmacy accidentally gave me both bags. Valentina stiffened. I smiled. Let's just say it didn't quite match up with the story you gave David. What are you talking about? David asked sharply. Oh, nothing serious. Just something that raised some questions. But I'm sure everything's fine now. I beamed at the stunned crowd. Modern medicine is amazing, isn't it? Valentina's face had gone from white to green. Aria, stop. Stop? I'm just sharing your wonderful news. Oh, and Mom, Dad, did Valentina ever tell you about her little online business? My parents, frozen in horror, suddenly looked even more alarmed. What business? Dad asked. Oh, just some, adult content under an alias. Very creative branding. I said, pulling out my phone. She's quite the entrepreneur. Not sure how David feels about it, though. That's enough, Valentina screamed. You're right, I said calmly. This is a wedding, not a confessional. Although, Father Martinez, while you're here, Valentina might want to discuss that charity fundraiser from last Christmas. You know, the one that was supposed to benefit the Children's Hospital, but ended up funding a personal vacation instead. Father Martinez looked like he wished he could disappear. David turned toward Valentina, his voice strained. The conference, the online content, the fundraiser. What's going on, Val? David, she's lying. She's just jealous because I'm pregnant and she's infertile? I supplied with a sweet smile. Oh no, that was the story you told Mom to get sympathy and some cash for treatments that turned out to be cosmetic surgery. I'm perfectly healthy, thank you. Just waiting until after my wedding, like a grown-up. Mom finally found her voice. Valentina Marie Castellano, is this true? Valentina didn't respond. She was staring at me with pure hatred. You've been planning this. Planning? I laughed. No, Val. I've been keeping receipts. Every lie, every scam, every time you got away with something while Mom and Dad looked the other way because you're the baby. I was going to let it go. But then you showed up to my wedding in a white dress and demanded my bouquet. I stepped closer and whispered just loud enough for everyone to hear. Well, congrats. Everyone's looking at you now. The room erupted. David stormed out. Mom started crying, real tears this time. Dad was yelling about the fundraiser money. Guests were whispering, some already pulling out their phones. Through it all, Valentina stood frozen, still holding my bouquet, her white dress now making her look like a rejected bride at someone else's ceremony. Marcus stood and gently pulled me to my feet. I think it's time for our first dance, he said loudly. The band, bless them, immediately began to play. As he led me to the dance floor, leaving the chaos behind, he whispered, "Remind me never to piss you off." I gave her so many chances, I whispered back, finally letting tears fall. I just wanted one day, one single day that was mine. I know, baby, I know. He spun me gently, and I caught sight of Simone giving me a standing ovation from our table. For what it's worth, that was legendary. The rest of the reception was surreal. Half the guests left with the drama. The other half stayed, seemingly energized by the scandal. Valentina disappeared at some point, along with our parents. But my friends stayed. Marcus's family stayed. The people who actually loved us stayed. As we cut the cake, Valentina free, Simone sidled up to me. So, online fans. Made that up, I admitted. But she's been paranoid about people finding out about something online, so I took a guess. And the STI. Real. She used my insurance and forgot they send explanation of benefits forms. The charity money? Also real. I have the receipts. Simone shook her head in awe. You're terrifying. I love it. 3 months later, the fallout was still settling. Valentina's wedding was called off. Turned out David had been suspicious for a while, and my revelations were the final straw. She'd been kicked out of Mom and Dad's house after they discovered she'd stolen Mom's credit card for the Cabo trip. The church banned her from volunteer work pending investigation into the missing fundraiser money. She sent me a long email calling me every name in the book, saying I'd ruined her life out of jealousy. I didn't respond. I was too busy being happily married, enjoying my drama-free life with a man who loved me and friends who showed up for me. Mom eventually apologized, sort of. I didn't realize how much we let her get away with, she said over coffee. But did you have to do it at your wedding? Did she have to wear white to my wedding? I countered. Did you have to demand I give her my bouquet? She didn't have an answer for that. The funny thing is, I would have kept Valentina's secrets forever. I'm not naturally vindictive. All I wanted was one day, my wedding day, to be about Marcus and me. One day where I wasn't the responsible older sister cleaning up Valentina's messes or watching her steal the spotlight. But she couldn't even give me that. She showed up in white, announced her pregnancy at my reception, and demanded my bouquet like it was her birthright. So I gave her what she wanted, everyone's complete, undivided attention. The spotlight she craved so desperately turned up to full beam, illuminating every lie and scheme she hidden in the shadows. She wanted to be the main character at my wedding. Fine, I made her the villain instead. The last I heard, she'd moved to Arizona, started using her middle name, and was working at a juice bar. She blocked me on everything, which was honestly a gift. Sometimes the best wedding present is the absence of toxic people in your new life. As for my bouquet, I pressed and framed it. It hangs in our bedroom next to our wedding photo. The one where Marcus and I are laughing on the dance floor while chaos erupts behind us. It's my favorite picture from the whole day. Because that's the thing about spotlights. They show everything, not just what you want people to see. And when you've built your whole life on lies, maybe it's better to stay in the shadows. They had no idea what I would do next. But now they know. Never wear white to my wedding unless you're ready for me to show your true colors.